G'day there guys, thinks a cup of morning in the coffee is pretty sweet here. Welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please do tell me about it down in the comments below. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Thank you. Posted by user MaskThrowaway459. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my friend she should understand I'm going to pick my husband over her every time? So I've been married for 6 beautiful, awesome years. I love my husband. He's my best friend and will be no matter what. Words cannot describe how great he is. I'm just so lucky. Last year, we moved to a completely new state. We started new jobs and got the ball rolling, but one thing I've noticed is I could never make long-term friendships. I got along with coworkers, but never hung out with them. Then I met AmiTheA, who was super great and willing to hang out with me. We had a lot of good times to where I could finally call her my friend. She knows I love my husband and will put him first all the time. There have been times I cancelled on AmiTheA because my husband and I wanted to have a sudden date night or such. She's been pretty cool about it. She just says that we'll reschedule. I don't know why, but today was different. 2 weeks ago, we decided to pick a date to go to a haunted attraction, which ended up being tonight. I saved up some money for it, and then yesterday, my husband announced that he had the day off and said let's have a whole day as a date. I said we could use the money I had saved up for the attraction and just reschedule with AmiTheA. I told her this morning, and instead of her okay, cool message, she told me she was hating being second choice, and she was really excited for this night. I told her my husband will always come first. He'll always come before her or any friend. She told me I obviously don't need a friend then because I don't have any time open for others. My husband feels guilty, but I'm trying to prove he shouldn't be. Am I the a-hole? Who wouldn't put their spouse before a friend? I think you're mixing up your obligations there, OP. If your spouse comes before hanging out with your friends in every single situation, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And it's definitely one that if my spouse was doing it, I would sit them down and talk them through it as to why it's unhealthy, and perhaps this is the reason you don't have a, close-knit circle of friends, or more friends than just your partner and AmiTheA. This string of events and constantly putting her down is definitely an issue in my eyes. I think you're a bad person for doing that, and I think it's ridiculous that you don't see how it hurts other people. I'm gonna say you're the a-hole, and you would be the a-hole if you continue these actions. You're the a-hole. It's not putting your husband second to honor your commitments. You and AmiTheA had planned this for weeks, and you're running out of chances to do this seasonal activity. You let your friend down and she's right. You don't want a friend, you just want an option for when your husband is busy. You want an option for when your husband is busy. Ding ding ding, we have a winner. Her friend is just something to occupy her time when nothing better, hubby, is available. She doesn't actually value her friendship or want to spend time with her. She just wants a space filler when hubby is busy. You're the a-hole, what they said above. Also, sometimes you do have to put your friends first if you want to keep friends. Like, if your friend found out her husband was cheating and needed a place to stay that night and a shoulder to cry on, but it happened to be your weekly date night with your husband, you would really put your friend off? If your friend's car was in the shop and she asked you to pick her up from work and you agreed, but then your husband called and suggested you two go to the new hot place for dinner, you'd ditch her? Obviously, if your husband had an emergency and your friend had an emergency at the same time, it's reasonable to pick your husband. But when it's just about planned social events and your dear husband wants to do something spontaneous, any decent person would stick to their plans. At most, you can ask your friend if your dear husband can come along, and don't invite him if she says no. But otherwise, you say, but one thing I've noticed is I could never make long-term friendships. I wonder why. You're the a-hole. I'm married myself, so my spouse comes first, but I don't take a dump on someone else's schedule. That's what you do when you cancel on her all of a sudden. I had to read this so many times because I kept thinking you were saying you married yourself, and that's why your spouse came first. You're not putting your husband first. You're making plans with someone and then cancelling because your husband decided last minute to have a date night multiple times. That's not okay. Don't make plans if you know you'll just blow her off if hubby is available. You're the a-hole. Posted by user ujhuti78ij. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my parents it's their fault I'm 17 and haven't kissed a guy yet? So we had a neighborhood event and my parents were joking about how I hadn't had my first kiss yet and I'm developing slow in that regards and how they lost their virginities to each other at 16 or something. I was fudging ticked hearing that, and I told them it's their own damned fault since they sent me to an all-girls school and rarely let me hang out with other guys. I've only ever had one guy friend and he moved away. My parents told me to go to my room. They later yelled at me saying I'm ungrateful and I was so rude and disrespectful and I need to respect them, blah blah blah. I guess everyone kind of sucks here in this situation. Your parents do suck for not letting you hang out with other guys. I mean, that's how they both got together in the first place, so it's kind of hypocritical for them to be making jokes about it. But you're also 17 and you can get connections with guys through your friends at school. That's possible. There's dating apps. That's possible also. Like, it's the 21st century, you can connect with guys online. It is hard, but it is possible. So it's not entirely their fault, they've just hindered you, and you lashing out saying that it's entirely their fault is an a-hole move. But at 17 years old, your emotions aren't the best, your way of dealing with situations are not the best. It takes time and many mistakes to learn what to and what not to do. Everyone sucks here. This is a weird-ass conversation to be having with your parents. Edit for judgment. Everyone sucks here, I guess. I was thinking the same. Who talks about that with your parents? I have no idea when my parents lost their virginity. Yeah, weird dynamic. What kind of person makes fun of their child at all, let alone about their sexual activity? B, whose parents knows when or what you do as a horny teen? And C, why would anyone know what or when or how their parents did whatever with whomever? OP, this is odd, and you may need to seek some counseling. Family friends can help you out of making that happen. When you're ready to kiss whoever, your parents should not be involved or informed. Not the a-hole, and what the hell? Not the a-hole. It was rude and disrespectful for your parents to joke about your sex life, and deeply inappropriate for them to imply that you should have sex by now. The fact that they did so, and then punished you for your reaction, makes me suspect your parents are probably pretty routinely awful. You may want to get a therapist when you can, as you may have a lot of childhood awfulness to sort through. This seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back. OP sounded like she hated being at an all-girls school and her parents restricting her access to a large population of the world. And then her parents poke fun at it in the way they did. I'd be pissed too. Not the a-hole. I don't know if blaming them was the right thing to do exactly, but them joking about how you're developing slowly in the romantic and sexual department, at a semi-public event no less, is really inappropriate. We all develop at our own pace, and as you rightly point out, not all of us have the same opportunities either. If you're straight and you're in an all-girls school, it stands to reason you won't really meet that many boys your age, never mind boys you're actually into. Your parents are a-holes for shaming you about this. There is no right age to get your first kiss, lose your virginity, and this bullying and shaming on you is gross. I'm sorry, OP. Everyone sucks here. There is no shame or pride in having or not a first kisses, losing virginity by a certain age. You seem to be shaming and blaming each other for something petty and trivial. The parents publicly humiliated them over this though, and they are creating an environment where she can't hang out with guys at all. I think her reaction, especially as a teenager, is completely justified. Posted by user, deleted. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not giving my brother and wife the bigger room? My brother's wife lost her job, which has caused them to lose the house they were renting. My brother asked if he could stay with me, and I talked to my boyfriend and he said sure. So I told my brother yes, but he can't bring any of their furniture with them. We don't have any room for any of it. Our spare room has a bed and dressers in it already. He'll have to find a place to store their things. Now, he wasn't happy about it, but said okay, and that was that. When they started moving their clothes and whatnot in, they started complaining about how small the room was. I ignored it because they were used to a rather large house, and I was sympathetic because I know how it feels to go from having everything to nothing. I apologized and told them that this was the best we had. Issue. My son was in his room and started crying. I went in there to check on him, and my brother got mad. I usually keep his door closed when he's napping, as I have a baby monitor, and I guess my brother saw how large his room is. It's not big at all by any means. It's just bigger than the spare room. He asked why the hell we gave him the small room when we can just move our son into the spare room. I told him I'm not moving my son and all his things into a different room when the spare bedroom is perfectly fine for the two of them as long as they don't try to move their entire house into one room. He got mad, she got mad. They threw a fit. Then my brother asked why we don't move my son into our room. I told him that my son's crib won't fit in our room. And again, I'm not moving him just to accommodate them. The last week or so has been very tense. Small comments here, cold shoulder there, petty shoulder checks from his wife if we cross close together. I've kept my mouth shut because I love my brother and I don't want to cause trouble. Plus, if they weren't so pissy, I guess is the word, they wouldn't be hard to live with. They've started to complain that my son's crying at night is keeping them awake, which I get, but he's a baby. He only wakes once a night to eat, and that's not even all the time. This morning, it all came to a head when my brother told me I should move into the spare room and let them have mine and my boyfriend's room so that they don't get woke up by the baby. When I told him no, he started yelling, calling me selfish and entitled, told me that I should let them have my room, because my son is an annoying little crap that keeps them up every night, all night. Now here's where I might be the a-hole. I saw red. Let me start this by saying I did not yell at my brother as he yelled at me. I said, if you can't appreciate the room you were given, you can go elsewhere. My boyfriend and I have been more than accommodating to you. You constantly complain. You're ungrateful and rude. Get over yourself or get out of my house. Edit to add, I'm asking if I'm the a-hole because my mother called me and told me I'm an a-hole for not giving the married couple the big bedroom with the connected bathroom. And apparently my other siblings agree? Edit to add too, they do not pay rent. My boyfriend and I own our own home and don't pay anything on it. They pay the difference on the electricity bill and buy some of their own groceries. I do the majority of the cooking and all the cleaning. Edit to add 3, boyfriend and I are going to talk about kicking them out tonight when he gets off work. So yeah, I don't know where your family is coming from with this attitude about that. I'm constantly having to question reality when these things keep repeating themselves. Maybe they're being fed lies by those two that are trying to take advantage of your hospitality. We don't have the full picture here, but, there's obviously misinformation and lies being thrown all over the place. I completely agree with you. If they can't appreciate the room they were given, they can go elsewhere. That's just a given, they're not even paying rent. You can't demand more once you've already been given something amazing for free. Life doesn't work that way, these people need to suck it up and leave. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your brother called your son a literal baby and annoying crap. Girl, you need to evict him and his wife yesterday. He does not get to cause an inconvenience in your home to your family, insult your child, and make sleeping arrangement demands because he's bitter that he has a smaller room than he wanted. Agree. He crossed the line. Ask your family who was siding with them to offer up their bedroom to them. Not the a-hole. Don't forget, he called Mum and cried about his free room to her. Why aren't they living with your parents or her parents or a sibling that will give them the bedroom they think they're entitled to? Could you imagine being so close to homelessness and complaining that your bedroom isn't big enough? Like, these people clearly need some actual hard times in their life to set them straight. My grandpa used to tell me hard times make hard people, and as I get older now, I see how right he was. Can't appreciate the good times without having the bad to compare it to. OP needs to help them find their humility. Kick them out fudging yesterday. Posted by user NoGrade2870. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my son, 22 male, that if he wants to live like he's on his own, he needs to live on his own? So my son still lives with us because we're in a really high-cost area, Vancouver. At his current pay rates, people pay him to design their websites. It'll probably be another 4 to 5 years before he can afford to think about getting his own place. But my son doesn't seem to appreciate the help we're giving him. He doesn't follow anyone else's schedule. He doesn't ever seem to bother involving himself with anyone else in the house, and he's always complaining about us bothering him. He's up all hours of the night. He eats whenever he feels like it, ignoring our set meal times. He doesn't clean up unless asked. He occupies the bathroom when others need it, so on and so on. Today I sat him down and told him that this is gonna stop. From now on, if he wants to live with us, he's gonna sit with us at the table and eat when we eat. He'll pitch in more for upkeep, he'll come when cold, he'll get up and go to the bed when we do. And above all else, he'll stop complaining about having to deal with the reality of living with other people. If he doesn't like that, he's free to find his own place and live however he wants. He mouthed off as soon as I told him this and said some very disrespectful things. He claims that no one else he knows has to live like he does. I think I'm being fair and that all his friends are spoiled. I think your heart is semi in the right place for this one, but I don't think that his friends are spoiled. I think that's called growing up and living in your own schedule. Definitely there are aspects of his lifestyle currently that are affecting other people in the household that he could fix, like occupying the bathroom for too long when others need it. Only cleaning up when asked is another one, but ignoring set meal times and sleeping at all hours of the night and eating whenever he feels like it, that's not a problem. That's a normal expectation of a 22-year-old. He operates on a different timeline to you. I think you're being overbearing as a parent, and I think you need to sit down and have another talk and find a healthy middle ground where it works for everyone in this family. There is definitely aspects of what he's been doing that make him an a-hole, in a sense, but it's not malicious. It's normal 22-year-old behavior that you've got to guide and help become healthier, I guess. It's good that you're now communicating and setting boundaries, but I want you to do it in a more respectful way. I'm gonna go with everyone sucks here, leaning on you're the a-hole. Everyone sucks here. He should be cleaning up after himself, being respectful of shared spaces, and not disrupting people, but your rules for him are way too overboard and disrespectful of his adulthood. You shouldn't be setting his sleep schedule or having required meals together. And come when called sounds pretty disturbing. What are you calling him for? How often is that going to come up? You should be sharing the living spaces as respectful adults sharing a place to live. This. I, 33 male, live with my mum, 74, and she has medical problems and balance issues, and come when called is literally only in emergencies. That literally applies to everything in my life. Nothing can be so important that you can't text and wait unless someone is fudging on fire. Everyone sucks here. He should be cleaning up after himself, helping out around the house, etc. But the rest of it is ridiculous. A 22-year-old should not have a bedtime. My older teenager doesn't have a bedtime. Actually, I stopped giving my kids bedtimes around age 13 as long as they got up for school or anything we needed to do. And as long as he's feeding himself and cleaning up, when he eats or what he eats shouldn't be a problem. Just have him contribute to the groceries or buy his own. Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.